afternoon and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I am Ogwa Vivian Onyedibia. As part of efforts to support the federal government's anti-corruption fight, the Association of Youths of Nigeria Against Corruption has appealed to the Nigerian Senate to reconsider its stand against the confirmation of the acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Ibrahim Magu. Assistant coordinator of the association, Phil Roberts, stated this while briefing journalists in Abuja. Musa Abubakar reports.
Corruption has continued to be an impediment to Nigeria's growth and development. The move by the present administration to strengthen the fight against corruption and appoint the acting chairman of Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Ibrahim Magu, has received commendation by the public. The Senate rejected his confirmation on the grounds of State Security Service report indicating that he lacks integrity to lead the country's anti-corruption agency. It is in view of this that IONAC is appealing with the Senate to have a rethink.
So we started the New Nigeria agenda and we've been pushing that to see how we can bring up youth to fight against corruption in Nigeria.
People, we have 60% young people within the workforce in the country now, and there's been massive downsizing going on in the country. What would they resort to? What would be their future if they have nothing to do now and they can't even start a family? So that is why we need to sit up and take action.
The truth is, there's no safety, which still boils down to corruption in Nigeria.
IONAC pledged to take the fight against corruption to the grassroots. In Abuja, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
And the Federal Executive Council at its meeting Wednesday showered encomium on late Maitama Sule and observed a minute silence for the elder statesman. The council, led by acting President Yemi Osinbajo, described late Maitama Sule as a patriot who contributed greatly to the independence and growth of democracy in the country. Acting President Yemi Osinbajo said as a politician and former minister, late Maitama Sule stood for peace and unity of the people in Nigeria and was never shy of advocating good governance.
We should, what he thought we should emphasize, which is, of course, the unity of our nation, the indissolubility of our nation, the indivisibility of our nation. As you all know, he was an incredible orator also, and I recall in particular his speech which he gave when I was in Form 5 in secondary school. It was titled Africa Has Arrived. And it was such an incredible speech that I kept memory of it and reminded him of it many, many years after. He'll be sadly missed by all of us who regarded him as a mentor and as a father of our nation and as one of the great contributors to our democracy and also our stability as a nation.
The former Nigerian permanent representative to the United Nations died at the age of 87. His remains was laid to rest in Kano on Tuesday. The Chief of Staff, Abba Kyari, led a delegation of the federal government to the burial. The House of Representatives has passed for second reading a bill for an act to amend the National Emergency Management Agency Act of 2004 to include local government chairmen in the State Committee of the agency. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo reports.
Well, the members who contributed to this bill argued that most of the incidents that fall under the purview of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, happens in the local areas, and then for more efficiency, the local government should be included in the process. I have with me the sponsor of that bill, Representative Joseph Edonwele. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Now, what actually do you seek to achieve with that bill?
Well, the NEMA Act 2004 allowed the setup of state committees where members are set up to take care of the relief materials that will come from NEMA. But unfortunately, where the disaster actually happened at the local government level, when state government are setting up these committees, they don't include the local government representative. We are saying that those are the ones that are closer to the people, and the disasters like erosion, fire outbreaks, they all happen at the local government level. And so they must be included. A representative from that local government should be included in those state committees that is provided in Section 8, 1 and 2.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, a total of 5 bills were also passed at first reading, and one of them is a bill that seeks to amend the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Well, that's what we have for you at this point in time. But at the end of the day, we'll bring you an update of what transpired on the floor of the House at Wednesday's plenary.
Thank you, Ignatius. And still on the legislature, the Senate has urged security agencies to submit a comprehensive plan of action to contain and ensure constant security of the University of Maiduguri. In a motion, Senator Babaka Kabashir Garbai, Borno Central, lamented the disturbing trend of rising insecurity in what he described as one of the foremost citadels of learning in the country.
Of the security in the institution, coupled with the vast expanse of land it sits on and the external conditions of security across the state, has worsened the situation and made these attacks more effective.
At the fencing of the university.
Aside a special fund for the fencing of the remaining parts of the university that are now wide open. University of Maiduguri is exposed, is on the outskirts of Maiduguri itself, and the borders are very, very porous, and the very need to construct a security barrier or fence around the university is very, very important.
We must provide security at University of Maiduguri. It is a symbol of our victory against Boko Haram, and we owe that to the students and children that go to University of Maiduguri for education. Thank you so much.
Well, we hear angry students of the Osun State University this morning took to the streets in Osogbo protesting the gruesome killing of their colleague, Temileyin Shonibare, a 400-level microbiology student. This followed the confession of suspects arrested over the killing. We have our correspondent, Tokwe Alabi, there live now in Osogbo. Tokwe, can you hear me? Well, I'm sure we'll establish connection again with Tokwe, and we'll get back to you as soon as he comes on. Moving on, the air power and professionalism of the Nigerian Air Force in degrading Boko Haram terrorists in the northeast has again recorded success as it has destroyed a suspected building likely to be a boarding command and control facility of Boko Haram in Sambisa Forest. As by the Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Olatokunbo Adesonya, indicates that the Nigerian Air Force component of Operation Lafia Dole conducted an intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance mission of the Sambisa general area, where a gradual convergence of Boko Haram terrorists were noticed at some buildings in Alagano Camp 1. Our confirmatory intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance was conducted before 2 Alpha jets and a F-7NI aircraft was deployed for air interdiction strikes on the building in succession. Subsequent battle damage assessment revealed that the structures with the solar panels and other adjoining Boko Haram terrorist structures were damaged. The Nyanya bus terminal in Abuja which was closed down following multiple terrorist attacks in 2014, has been reopened to the public by the Federal Capital Territory Administration. Mitare Ikben tells us more.
Temporary Iron Bus Terminal, which witnessed multiple bomb explosions in the past, have been reopened for patronage by commuters, but this time around is strictly for high-capacity buses, and adequate security measures have been put in place. The Yanyan bus terminal, which is still a temporary PPP arrangement pending the completion of an ongoing permanent park, now has perimeter fencing, CCTV cameras, and a control room manned by security personnel as part of measures to ensure the safety of passengers.
Let me also call on the commuters to maximize the use of this terminal. Do not hang along the roads to board vehicles, as doing so amounts to violation of traffic rules. The law enforcement agents have been mobilized to arrest and prosecute any commuter who will hang along the road to board the buses.
A few passengers urged the FCT Transport Secretariat to create more awareness.
Before, if you come, you will stand in a queue, but as I come now, if you come in, you enter inside the bus and the bus will go, it's still okay.
Meanwhile, other fenced spaces at the fringes of the terminal have been designated by the FCT Transport Secretariat as terminals for mini and coastal buses that ply interstate routes. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
Well, we seem to have established connection with Tokwe Alabi in Oshogbo over the protest this morning by angry students of the Osun State University. Tokwe, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, what is the situation in Oshogbo what was the situation this morning and what is happening there now?
Well, this morning, students of Osun State University went on rampage, and it was due to the death. It was due to the death of a student named Shonibare, a 400-level microbiology student. He was actually declared missing some days ago, particularly on the 26th of June. And when he was being found, they found his lifeless body in an uncompleted building. And that was the cause of the protest. Students were angry. Students were angered by the non-appearance of what could be referred to as steps from authorities that could have done one or two things to salvage the situation. The students were saying that they were not safe on campus, and they were not even safe where they were living in their residential areas. And they came into the town, they blocked all the roads, and they were wearing black, trying to mourn the students. And it was not Falade movements were completely shut down in Oshogbo. Even the government secretariat, it was completely.
Well, we hear that several hours of human and vehicular movement was at a standstill. Has the situation been brought under control now? Tokwe, can you hear me? Well, we'll bring you update on that report as we follow the situation. Another division is rearing its head again in the crisis-ridden People's Democratic Party, PDP, as the Senator Ali Modu Sharif leadership disowned any action from a group called Former Ministers Forum of the PDP. Political correspondent Abdullahi Garba Brinin Kudu reports.
It all started when a group called Former Ministers Forum, comprising those who served during the PDP-led administration in the current democratic dispensation, met in Abuja. The forum in a communique addressed party affairs, other national issues, and the party's preparations toward 2019 elections.
The forum also calls for urgent meeting of all organs of the party to harmonize all necessary strategy to consolidate the party and unite all efforts in the forthcoming challenges, and particularly the build-up to the 2019 general election.
In a swift reaction, however, the Ali Modu Sharif leadership dissociated itself from the forum, describing its composition as negating party's constitutional provisions.
The PDP constitution is very clear. they are not an organ of the party. They don't exist in the rules of the party. They were given the opportunity to implement the manifesto of the PDP. They finished the PDP. They finished the country. And here they are, regrouping.
It will be recalled that the Supreme Court had reserved judgment on the PDP case between Senator Ali Madu Sharif and the Makarfi Caretaker Committee. In Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Kudu, NTA News.
Well, Lagos is our first stop on Nationwide today. Let's join Jennifer for reports from that zone. Hello, Jennifer.
Hello, Ogwa. Good evening and a warm welcome to Lagos. The Federal High Court sitting in Lagos has fixed the 9th of November for the continuation of trial of 2 Chinese charged with importation of substandard tires. Vera Chimuba has more.
The 2 Chinese, Shan 36 and Yor 22, are charged alongside a Nigerian, Chinedu Madubike, and 2 companies, Sino Nigeria Export and Import Limited and Nedeka International Limited. The accused are standing trial on 4 counts, bordering on importation of substandard products. They were arraigned on March 20th and had pleaded not guilty. The court had granted them bail in the sum of 10 million naira with 2 sureties in like sum. The trial of the accused persons, which was slated for today, could not proceed as the trial judge, Justice Mojisola Olaturegu, was said to be on official assignment. The accused were said to have committed the offense in February this year by conspiring to import tires that failed to meet relevant Nigerian industrial standard. They were alleged to have stuffed various sizes of the tire into one, knowing same to be in a dangerous state. The accused were also alleged to have failed to furnish returns on the conditions of the imported tires as required by law. Further hearing continues on the 9th of November. In Lagos, Vera Chimuba, NTA News.
Residents and visitors to Agege community in Lagos have benefited from a healthcare program initiated by the Nigerian Army. Lin Leneke reports that a large number of people from grassroots took advantage of the benevolent activities of the 9th Brigade Ikeja of the Nigerian Army.
From its continued sustenance of successes made in tackling contemporary and emerging security challenges in the country, the Nigerian Army is also taking steps to provide good medical care for Nigerians. This is why the 9th Brigade Ikeja took its health campaign to Agege in Lagos, where residents were tested for diabetes, hypertension, high blood pressure, dental care, and other medical cases. Commander 9th Brigade, Brigadier General Elias Atu, explained that Agege is strategic and so the exercise is meant to promote and sustain military and civil relationship. He stressed that the presence of the military in the community will also serve as deterrent to criminals. The residents appreciated the gesture and pledged their continued collaboration with the army.
When they attend to us as a military man, we all fear before, but the way when we see them, they talk to us like a normal human being. They laugh with us, they even give us free something.
Because my vitals were taken, and after the observation of everything, I was given the normal advice on what to do.
Most of us don't know that we have one problem or the other, but by coming to this place or by doing this now, they will find out what is wrong with you and they will prescribe what to do.
The Nigerian Army, we really appreciate them. They are giving us security and at the same time they are giving us medical checkup.
The medical outreach is part of activities marking the 2017 Nigerian Army Day celebration. In Lagos, Lin Lenake, NTA News.
Parents and guardians must rise to the challenge of protecting their children and wards from any form of abuse in view of increasing cases of domestic and sexual violence. These were the views of participants at the maiden Lagos State Parents Teachers Association Conference on Child Abuse. Joy Ken Abakpoya reports that a large number of parents were in attendance.
At times, there have been an increase in cases of child abuse ranging from kidnap, rape, trafficking and molestation, all of which have continued to affect society in a negative way. Given the role of parents as first responders, this conference has become necessary to sensitize and promote morals that will help parents, teachers and guardians identify, prevent and respond to child abuse.
We must protect their rights, which is their right to life,
to good quality education, to good health care, to survival, to recreation, expression of an association. Generally, they must be given the rights to develop and fulfill their potential in life.
Fundamental and the disturbing truth is that our children are being abused. Physically abused, emotionally abused, sexually abused, and they are being neglected.
Apart from identifying the causes of child abuse, organizers also want parents to always listen to their children and build cordial relationships that will help the children feel free to talk to their parents about issues affecting their lives.
Parents, are actually very pivotal. They play a very key role to issues of child abuse, and so we need to engage parents. We need to inform them about what child abuse entails.
The Lagos State government had in December 2016 endorsed an executive order on safeguarding and child protection program, making it mandatory for all child-centered institutions to adopt a child protection policy. In Lagos, Joy Ken Abakboya, NTA News.
Thank you, Joy. You're still watching Nationwide News. The news continues with Ogwa in Abuja. Stay tuned.
Thank you, Jennifer. The Buhari Media Support Group has urged the executive and legislature to avoid controversies so as to achieve the change mantra of the All Progressives Congress APC. In a statement by the acting chairman, BMSG, Austin Brimo, the group noted that only a harmonious working relationship between the two arms of government can enable the APC live up to its promise of moving Nigeria to the next level of growth and development. The group frowned at disagreements between the executive and the National Assembly, which is populated by APC members, saying it is sending confusing signals to Nigerians. The group, however, reiterated that the present administration, either viewed from the executive or legislative angle, is one government made up of one party that is committed to deliver change to the good people of Nigeria. Well, in furtherance of the federal government's effort to ensure the digitization of television signals in Nigeria, Ilorin, Kwara State capital, is set to join other states of the Federation who have switched over. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday reports that necessary equipment have been installed while the signal output has been tested.
In 2016, Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, joined Jos Plateau State to switch over to digital broadcasting. And ahead of the digital switchover in Ilorin, it is the liquid-cooled version that was installed by Integrated Television Services, the major national signal distributor. And following some rumors on the quality of infrastructure in the center for the switchover, members of the House had a committee on digital switchover took a tour of the site to ascertain the level of preparedness of ITS. Members of the committee were received by a high-powered delegation led by the Executive Director Engineering of the NTA, Moses Okpanachi. Members of the committee watched the digital signal while listening to explanation by engineers, after which they were conducted round the installed equipment. A member of the committee, Chris Azubogu, spoke with newsmen on behalf of others.
We came to do fact-finding, the experience that ITS have acquired over the years, because their parent company, NTA, has done quite a lot. So I think they are well and ready to hit the ground.
We are ready to switch on in Ilorin, to switch on in Osogbo, and as well in Enugu. Anytime the people who have the date say switch on, we want digital signals there, we are ready.
These are top-grade American signal processing systems that have been proven worldwide. So we are very ready. We've been good as going since the 22nd of May here in Ilorin.
29 stations are already running, only waiting for official migration. Adebola, Brookslyn Sunday, NTA News.
Well, experts on medical matters say there is no compromise on the ongoing reforms at the National Health Insurance Scheme in rebuilding confidence of subscribers and block leakages for the attainment of universal health coverage. Talatu Ezurike reports that this was the fallout of discussion on NTA's current affairs program, Tuesday Live.
Over 12 years ago, the National Health Insurance Scheme, NHIS, took off in full force and was highly celebrated, as most Nigerians saw it as effective tools to address challenges for those constrained by finances to offset medical bills.
I think the highest I had ever paid was 50 naira.
Analysts say the scheme was abused over the years, with the narratives of subscribers not getting services for their money, poor health care delivery, and alleged compromise or corruption by officials, among other setbacks. These, the regulatory body says, must stop in its bid to scale up expansion of the scheme to the informal sector, especially the rural poor. It particularly frowns at poor outcome of huge investment into the health insurance scheme of only 1%.
There was never, a time when the NHIS, refused, fulfilling its own obligation of release of funds, really. This is a default, by the, HMOs. And at the end of the day, who suffers? The healthcare provider, suffers. And the enrollees.
HMOs, all they've been talking about is the money. We are not treating our patients well. Consistently, what I hear are HMOs are not paying us. And I will get that money back from HMOs and pay hospitals. Take that excuse off the table, so I concentrate on hospitals.
The way forward, many agree, is the reduction of the health maintenance organizations, HMOs, with strict supervision.
We want a regulator who is very strict and who can even use a hammer.
If NHIS can get a big pool to encourage a pharmaceutical company to pack the drug and label it NHS, so it will cut off the problem of drug is not available, drug is not on the list.
No doubt the body language of the NHIS as a regulatory body is that no longer business as usual. Corruption must stop in giving subscribers valued services. Talat Ezerike, NTA News.
Well, the question of indigent settler crisis in parts of the country has become a major public concern. Joining in this discussion, guests on Good Morning Nigeria say politics, ethnicity and religious intolerance are major risk factors. Patricia Isama-Lubi reports.
Changing dynamics of a multi-ethnic and multi-religious country like Nigeria has brought about massive movement of persons from one part of the country to the other, whether for trade or educational purposes. Many have settled in places far from their traditional abode. The result being the growth of vibrantly distinct yet multicultural societies. For some years, however, the peace and tranquility in these multi-ethnic and cultural societies have been disrupted with clashes over land and other resources. Experts on Good Morning Nigeria agree that political maneuvering, ethnic bias and lack of education are factors fueling indigent settlers' crisis in Nigeria.
Implementing the federal character principle, particularly in respect of appointment of ministers, people who should be appointed from a state should be indigenes of that state. And I think this is where the whole idea or the notion of indigeneity got imported into our constitution.
Indigent settler conflict or whatever is a product of political manipulation, and therefore is part of the process of corruption in our political system. We may find a solution to it if we want, but the politicians have to sit and agree as to what benefit we can drive.
They are of the opinion that land ownership and other legislative rights need to be looked into so as to put to an end the clashes which have claimed many lives and properties over the years.
The fact that the Constitution as it is not ambiguous, but I think it has not addressed and touched on these issues, which is why there is a need for review.
How do we integrate people who have been living in communities for decades?
The guest also touched on the much advocated residency rights for Nigerians.
And even within the ambit of our law, can you imagine a situation where you say that in every situation where the form says place of origin, it is said place of residence? It won't take 10 years for a significant departure to happen. Very significant departure to happen. Where people tend to see themselves less in terms of being products of origin, but more in terms of products of residency.
They unanimously agree that the Constitution needs to be amended to address the issue of indigenous settlers once and for all. I am Patricia A. Semiluba, NTA News.
Well, I beg your pardon, Patricia Luba there reporting. It's now time to join Obey in Benin for details on medical outreach by the Nigerian Army and more reports. Good to see you, Obey.
It's part of activities marking the 2017 Army Day celebration. Franco Konofua reports.
Some of the illnesses treated include hypertension, diabetes, malaria, and other common illnesses. The brigade commander, Brigadier General Ibrahim Gaba, says the command decided to reach out to members of the community as they celebrate 2017 Army Day and as part of the command's social responsibilities to the community.
We calculated or we budgeted for at least 4,000, 5,000. We have what it takes to attend to that number. But if they come more, we will be able to see if we can repeat the event.
The Odonwere of Ugbo, Pa Ugiagbe, Ikwe, and other members of the community commended 4th Brigade, Nigerian Army, for their gesture.
If we have been seeing this type of this thing, there could have been more improvement for those.
So we are indeed grateful to them. This will help some people who cannot really take care of their heads.
This year's celebrations of the Army Day has the theme sustaining the success of the Nigerian Army in tackling contemporary and emerging security challenges. In Benin, Franco Konofua, NTA News.
About 500 youths in Ekiti State have been trained under the National Industrial Skills Development Program, an initiative which is part of steps to assess federal government's policy on job creation and wealth generation. Abiola Ogumoyela has details.
The beneficiaries were trained for 3 months on 6 skills, which are welding and fabrication, event decoration, electrical installation, hairdressing and cosmetology, catering services, and fashion designing.
I could decorate a very big hall, a burial, even any event.
It is now left for us now to utilize the opportunity.
The Director General of ITF, Mr. Joseph Ari, appreciated the state government for the enabling environment and support towards the overall success of the program.
When we track them, we visit them, we see how they are doing, we advise them where possible.
Deputy Governor Dr. Kolakwo Olushola assured ITF of continuous support of the state to the program, as the scheme is in line with the present administration's vision to make youths productive. He urged the beneficiaries to make judicious use of the skills acquired, as this will place them on the right path to success in life. In Ado-Ekiti, Abiola Ogumoyela, NTA News.
Some ex-agitators and beneficiaries of the amnesty program in the Niger Delta have expressed implicit confidence in President Buhari's administration towards providing meaningful development and lasting peace in the Niger Delta through the sustenance of the amnesty program. In view of this, Austin Edemodo examines how the program has shaped lives of the beneficiaries, challenges and prospects.
That was the moment the repentant agitators surrendered their arms as they embraced the amnesty program. Today, these are some of the beneficiaries of Phase 2 and 3 of the Presidential Amnesty Program, in solidarity with the federal government for continuing with the program.
Some of our boys have traveled to abroad. They are pilots, engineers.
Precisely on June 2009, late President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua offered an unconditional pardon, skill acquisition opportunity, and cash payments to agitators who had agreed to lay down their arms. Available records from the Amnesty Office indicate that between June 2009 and 2017, over 17,000 former agitators have been trained from the 30,000 captured. However, this has not come without some challenges.
Sometimes 2015-16, they stopped payment of training allowance. When they want to send boys to training, they did not consult the leaders. I think that is the reason why they are sending the wrong people.
In spite of the challenges, the federal government, under the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari, has kept faith in the implementation of the program.
We call on those who in the creek vandalizing the pipelines to stop vandalizing, because they are spoiling this program. Because if really there's peace in the area, we believe companies will come to the area and work.
They also appeal to the federal government to fulfill the promise of improved allowances and training for beneficiaries. I'm Austin Edemodu, NTA News.
Primary school teachers in Edo State have staged a peaceful protest to highlight what they term the dangers inherent in the ongoing agitation for local government autonomy as it affects the funding and management of primary education in the country. Bukola Rubusi has the report.
Some of their agitations include the funding and management of primary education to be a joint responsibility of the state and federal government instead of the local government council, and that allocations from the federation account to be reviewed upward in favor of the state to enable them discharge their constitutional responsibility effectively.
We want the states or the federal government to take that responsibility, just as it enshrined in the 1999 Constitution, and also by the Supreme Court judgment in the year 2002.
Over 80–90% of states push it to the local councils. And by so doing, because of the enormity of the funds involved, the councils can no longer do any other thing.
We'll look at it, and the next time we meet with the governor, we'll bring up the matter and discuss with him.
Everything that is stated in your address are being addressed already by Mr. Governor.
Primary education constitutes the foundational framework of the entire educational structure of our nation. In Benin, Bukola Urubusi, NTA News.
And that's it from Benin. Ogwa, it's over to you now for the rest of Nationwide News.
Thank you, Obey, in our Benin Network Center. Well, this is Nationwide, reaching you on the network service of the NTA. We now take a break. The news continues shortly.
Change does not just happen. You and I, and all of us, must appreciate that we all have our part to play if we want to bring change about. We must change our lawless habits, our attitude to public office, and public trust. We must change our unruly behavior in schools, hospitals, marketplaces, motor parks, on the roads, in homes and offices. To bring about change, we must change ourselves by being law-abiding citizens.
Now, you can hold that dream occasion without stress. Horizon Caterers will provide answers to all your catering questions. Exquisite hall designs, mouth-watering and nourishing local and continental cuisine, suitable for all types of ceremonies, including weddings, AGMs, business luncheon, cocktails. Name it, we can bring it. Our chefs and executive waiters give your guests that unforgettable experience in service. Our service covers all states of the Federation. Call us today to book your occasions. 0805-502-9637, 0803-450-9726, 0909-9708-111. Horizon Caterers, experience catering beyond the horizon.
The Future Assured project of the wife of the president, Aisha Muhammad Buhari, is carrying out free medical screening and distribution of food items at various IDP camps while ensuring the economic empowerment of women through training and skill acquisition. In recognition of her efforts, wives of governors have lent their voices and support.
In Kogi State, we feel the impact of Future Assured, especially in women and children.
The Future Assured program of Mrs. Aisha Muhammad Buhari, the wife of the president, has been very assuring and still reassuring in Sokoto State. It has impacted positively in the areas of humanity, especially women and children.
Supports to Future Assured initiative. Email programs@futureassured.org.ng. Future Assured, promoting and protecting the lives of Nigerian women and children.
T. Olufun Art Gallery, in conjunction with the Radio, Television, Theatre and Arts Workers Union, Ratawu, presents International Arts Exhibition 2017 from 7th July 2017. Venue, Arts and Craft Village, Transco Hilton, Abuja. Opening ceremony is on Friday, 7th July 2017. Special guest of honor, Professor Yemi Oshibanjo, San, Acting President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Chairman of Occasion, Professor Jerry Ghana, CON, former Minister of Information. Chief Host, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, Honorable Minister of Information and Culture. Host, Alhaji Bello Mohammed, Honorable Minister of FCT. Guest speakers, Otumba Olusegun Renshewe, Director General, National Council for Arts and Culture. Chief Otumba Shegun Adebayo and Princess Dr. Ebunoluwa Bosade Oladumi, JP, CEO Starcrest Nigerian Limited. Come and exhibit your textiles, graphic arts, music and dance. Get your stands now. For more information and participation, contact 080-660-81221 or 090-8077-7732 or 080-345-37369. International Arts Exhibition 2017, exhibiting talent and creativity.
NTA Television College Jaws, an affiliate of Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, is again organizing 4-week short courses in the following areas: intermediate television presentation techniques and basic camera operations, date 17th July to 11 August 2017, and intermediate television journalism, date 14th August to 8 September 2017. Venue for all courses will be at the college premises, NTA Television College, Refi Jaws. Course fee 100,000 naira per participant, accommodation inclusive. The courses have been designed to put participant on the professional broadcast track for both studio and location camera operations, exposing TV presenters on how to develop their own unique on-screen presence and persona, learning how to break down the script to bring words to life, and to improve journalist writing skills, English and grammar, learning excellent interviewing skills with critical thinking. If you have a knack for TV broadcasting, then don't miss this opportunity. NTA Television College, training you to be the best you want to be.
Thank you for staying tuned on Nationwide. Well, I'd like to remind you that you can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. And let's go rhetoric now. An American political philosopher, William John Benet, once said that not all teachers are parents, but all parents are teachers. Well, quotes like this and about 1,600 others will help enlighten readers on how best to nurture a child from the content of Parent-Teacher Motivational Handbook compiled by Chinedum Ikogwe with the backing of the National Council of Women's Societies. Saliu Abdullahi was at the event where the book was presented to the public.
It is said that a book is not judged by its cover. But this 254-page book, Parent-Teacher Motivational Handbook, seems to have possessed both attributes of beautiful cover and content. Little wonder then, guessed at the unveiling of the book, which compiled quotes that will motivate key players in child development, believe it will aid in retracing steps towards improving education. National Council of Women's Societies and representative of wife of the President, Aisha Buhari, as major partners in the book say returning to the path of proper child development will always receive favorable attention from them as mothers.
Because there are parents who are not morally upright, even in the presence of their young children.
The school and the home must be one in order to help bring up an all-round child.
Author of the book, Chinedu Ikogwe, says it was the desire to advance the cause of effective synergy to promote child development that inspired him.
When children are not well brought up, the family will be at risk. Because, you know, what we see, insurgency, armed struggle, militancy, you trace it to the home.
The book, Parent Teacher's Handbook, is intended to serve as reference that will ease challenges as a result of ignorance and nonchalance to child development. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
National INEC Commissioner monitors revalidation of voters' register. Sadia in Sokoto brings us details of this and more. Hello, Sadia.
Thank you, Ogwa. Welcome to Sokoto, seat of the Caliphate. Ink cartridge and poor electricity supply have been identified as a major challenge militating against the ongoing revalidation of voters' registration exercise in Sokoto State. Shehu Muhammad Datti reports that the National Commissioner in charge of Sokoto, Kebbi and Zamfara states, Amina Zakari, disclosed this after monitoring some registration centers in Sokoto North Senatorial District. The report.
The ongoing revalidation of voter registration exercise, which commenced on 24th of April 2017, is receiving positive response in Sokoto. When NTA News visited Sokoto South, Sokoto North and Kwara local government registration centers, eligible voters were on queue waiting to revalidate their voters card. They commended the INEC for the exercise, which enabled youths that have reached the age of 18 to register. Sokoto State has so far registered 20,000 voters, Kebbi State 30,000, while in Zamfara State 16,000 voters were revalidated. The National Commissioner in charge of Sokoto, Kebbi and Zamfara State, Hajia Amina Balazakari, said the Commission has opened 16 additional registration centers in hard-to-reach local government areas to ensure success. The National Commissioner said the exercise is currently facing challenges of ink cartridge and power fluctuation.
We have already extended the gesture to all states in the Federation. We have approved 300 more machines, on average of 6 machines to a state. And the state is supposed to look at the areas where they think they definitely need additional machines.
The revalidation of voter registration exercise is expected to terminate 2 months before the general election in 2019. In Sokoto, Shehu Muhammad Datti, NTA News.
In Sokoto State, like other parts of the country, rainy season comes along with devastation like flooding and windstorm, which usually claims lives and property. In this report, Muhammad Nasir takes a look at the management of natural disasters, especially by the agencies saddled with such responsibilities.
Every year, rainy season is often characterized by natural disasters such as flooding and windstorm. Sometimes human actions like building houses on waterways and dumping of refuse and drainages cause flooding. Natural and man-made disasters always cause havoc. The dangers posed by flooding are devastating, and that compel any responsive government to take preventive measures, while concerned citizens engage in the silting of drainages through communal efforts. National Emergency Management Agency, the body saddled with the responsibility to respond to disasters, says it has held stakeholders meeting to sensitize public on the importance of good drainage system, among other things.
All stakeholders, they have their own role, and they will play their own role. And inshallah, the issue of devastating disaster in Sokoto, Kebbi and Zamfara will be a thing of the past.
Sokoto State Emergency Management Agency also engaged in public enlightenment to educate people to guard against occurrence of such disasters.
Already started having some of these kind of disasters. Right now I'm talking to you, my staff are on the assessment of a storm that happened last week.
Experts believe that planting trees to serve as windbreakers assist to minimize windstorm, which often results in destruction of structures and displacing victims. In Sokoto, Muhammad Nasir, NTA News.
That's all from this end. Back to Ogwa in Abuja.
Thank you, Sadia. Well, moving on, Nigeria has indicated interest to partner with Airports Council International to enhance development in the aviation sector. Minister of State Aviation Hadi Sirika made the call when he received the Secretary General ACI Africa Ali Tonsi in Abuja. The minister commended the council for electing a Nigerian, Salem Dunuma, as president of the organization. The Secretary General of Airport Council International, in company of the recently elected president of the council, charged the country to take advantage of the new president's position for maximum benefits. Airport Council International is a non-profit organization with the purpose of advancing the interests of airports and to promote professional excellence. Well, presidential team led by Governor Kashim Shettima assesses Bama and Chibok towards returning IDPs. These are more reports as we join Lami in Maiduguri Network Center. It's over to you, Lami.
Hello, Vivian. You're welcome to Maiduguri. The federal government has sent a high-powered delegation to assess the state of infrastructure in liberated communities of Borno State, preparatory to the resettlement of internally displaced persons. The delegation visited Bama and Chibok local government areas of Borno State. Yagum Subukar brings us the details.
Addressing troops and IDPs in Bama, Minister of State for Budget and Planning Zainab Ahmed said the visit was to, among other issues, collaborate with the military in ensuring that the state is secured from threats of terrorists and to encourage IDPs to return back. She said federal government will support Borno State in the rebuilding and resettlement process in order to boost socio-economic activities of the people. Governor Kashim Shettima, while commending the sacrifice of Nigerian armed forces in restoring peace across the state, appreciated federal government's response to security and post-insurgency challenges. The entourage drove through Bama and visited the IDPs camp as well as government comprehensive school. The delegation was also in Chibok, during which the council chairman Yagayar Kawa led the team to inspect reconstructed houses in government secondary school Chibok, among other key infrastructure. In Maiduguri, Yagum Subukar, NTA News.
Following the outbreak of hepatitis E in 3 local government areas of Borno State, the Yakubu Gowon Center and partners, supported by the Presidential Committee on the Northeast Initiative, organized a training for medical personnel, conducted free screening and administration of vaccines on hepatitis in Maiduguri, the state capital. Again, Yagum Subukar reports that the training focused on the need to educate the public about the dangers of viral hepatitis.
Hepatitis is the inflammation of the liver that is characterized by the presence of inflammatory cells in the tissue of the organ. The inflammation can be caused by viruses, medications, or toxic agents. There are 5 types of viral hepatitis, namely hepatitis A, B, C, D, and E. Dr. Laraba Ahmed Bello, in a PowerPoint presentation, disclosed that any patient with hepatitis is not supposed to take alcohol or traditional herbs nor smoke. She further explained that hepatitis A is closely associated with unsafe water, inadequate hygiene, and that vaccines are available, while hepatitis B attacks the liver directly and can be transmitted through mother and child in the case of pregnant women. Team leader Nduka Uzo says the training is aimed at educating the public on hygiene and environmental management, hence need to screen and give vaccines on the medical personnel.
We have to start with the health workers, train them on how to handle viral hepatitis, and then screen them and vaccinate them, so that before you handle them, you are already sure you have some level of fortification of yourself.
The free screening and administration of vaccines of hepatitis, which is expected to last 10 days in the state, is to hold at the state specialist hospital, primary health care board, and at IDP camps. In Maiduguri, Yagum Subukar, NTA News.
And that's a wrap from Maiduguri. It's back to Vivian in Abuja.
Thank you, Lami. Well, for news on the foreign scene, let's join Nancy Godi Anunihu.
Welcome to this bit. The onerous task of spearheading the theme for the 2018 African Union Summit, winning the fight against corruption, a sustainable path to Africa's transformation, thrust on Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari by African leaders at the end of the 2017 AU Summit, has been described as a befitting one. This, the leaders say, is in cognizance of his track record in corruption fight and recommend that he imparts such virtue to other African leaders. Reports say about 50 migrants are feared to have drowned in waters off the Moroccan coast. Rescue services managed to retrieve 3 exhausted and disoriented men from a half-sunk rubber dinghy near Spain's Alborian island. It is believed that many more were originally on board. Survivors are aged between 17 and 25 from sub-Saharan Africa. Now, the U.S. and South Korea held a ballistic drill after North Korea tested a long-range missile experts believe may reach Alaska, the USA. China and Russia have urged the North to suspend its weapons program in exchange for a halt to U.S.-South Korea military exercise. The launch, the latest in a series of tests, was in defiance of a ban by the UN Security Council, and this has necessitated an urgent meeting of the UN. Now, the 1-month-old Qatar crisis brings Bahrain, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and United Arab Emirates to Cairo. This is on the heels of the expiration of the 48-hour extension deadline given to Qatar by the Gulf states, which severed relations with the country to accept a list of demands or face further sanctions, which include shutting down of Al Jazeera and scaling down ties with Iran. And now all eyes and ears await the next line of action by Qatar and the Gulf states. That's it from here.
Well, let's join Amanzi Marcos with sports update.
Chairman of Nigerian Football Federation